Hi, I'm Eibhlin Johnston from the Resiliency Hub, and welcome to our first HubCast. HubCasts will be short, mostly unprepared, see what shows up conversations, a little bit unpredictable, with business people, inspiring people, or people with just random ideas. Our speaker today ticks all of those boxes. Our aim is to explore resiliency in all forms, and today we're with Nadia Haugh, nutritional therapist, transformational breathworker, Reiki healer, and most importantly, my friend. So I called Nadia when I was out for a walk on Monday and I said, "Hey, do you want to try a HubCast podcast that we can post for National Workplace Wellbeing Day on the 1st of May?" And she said, "Yeah, why not?" So here we are. We're giving something a try. So, Nadia, is there anything else you want to add to that introduction?
No, that was perfect. Thank you, Ed.
Perfect. Great. Well, look, at the Resiliency Hub, we're doing a lot of work around resiliency at the moment, and we're working with a lot of clients in group settings and on a one to one basis. And we're seeing a huge amount of stress and anxiety. And we're working through that, and we have ways that we work through that. And what I wanted to talk to you about today, in the next 15 minutes, is what are you seeing as a nutritional therapist and transformational breathworker?
Um, yes, I agree. I'm seeing exactly the same. I'm seeing people struggling. I'm seeing a lot of fear and a lot of anxiety.
Yeah.
And what I've experienced, what I've noticed is that it's mainly because people don't know what the future
Yeah.
holds. And, people are just so fearful of the unknown.
Yeah. And actually, one of the things that we teach to both young people and their parents and corporates is that the future has never been known. Like, we have never been able to predict the future. But for some reason or other, the COVID-19 has actually introduced this new concept that we expect that we should know the future. Is that
Um,
something you see?
Yes, and my experience definitely is exactly the same because you see, we are under the illusion that we can control our future, and we
Yeah.
live in a society that very often we to a degree we can control our future. We
Mm.
can plan for holidays. We're already thinking about our kids' school journey, so that really gives us an illusion that we are in control of the future. And for a lot of people, this lockdown, COVID-19, has actually taken away all control, even for the next month, even for the next 2 months. So it brings up a lot of fear and a lot of anxiety.
And what if I was to come to you, Nadia, with that fear and anxiety? What would you be able to fix me?
No, no, I would not be able to fix you. No, as a breath worker and as a nutritional therapist, what I have done myself, because like everybody right now, I was faced with my own fears and emotional
Mm.
triggers. All my clients fell away. I have a daughter here who is struggling hugely with the uncertainty of the junior cert, and they can be all emotional triggers.
Yeah.
And listen, everybody is cooped up right now with their nearest and dearest, and they can be big emotional triggers.
Yeah.
So what I have done is I decided that I was going to look at my own nutrition and just kind of go, okay, what can I do in this moment
Mm.
of lockdown to help myself
Yeah.
to gain more energy, to maybe have a look at my digestion. And my biggest tool, what I'm using at the moment, is the breath.
Well.
I am a breath worker. I use the breath in my daily practice. But right now, even the most simple and the most gentle exercise using the breath to just pause
Mm.
and just to be even aware where your breath is at, and to recognize all your feelings, and then bring in the kindness to yourself, to just to allow yourself to be afraid. Allow yourself to not know. And that's all you can do. And it just sit with that and just accepting and surrendering to where we are at right now. That is one of the most beautiful first steps you can do and take for yourself.
Wow, that's lovely actually. And I'm hearing it, it's like as if I'm hearing it for the first time. It's actually really, really lovely. And what struck me as you were saying those words to me was the similarities to what we're actually doing in the Resiliency Hub. And we tend to use a snow globe as a metaphor for our minds and our brains and actually how we're um, dealing with life. And the snow globe represents this absolute chaos in our heads. And we tell people to settle their minds, but actually, you've just given us something new to help us to settle our minds, and that's with the breath. And I have to admit, Nadia, knowing you for years, you managed to convince me to go to the Joshua Tree last year, to go to the International Breathwork Conference, which is something that was so out of my comfort zone. It is something that I never would have thought I would have done. And it wasn't like I was going down to Wicklow. I was actually getting on plane, flying to LA, renting a car and driving to Joshua Tree. And it was one of the most transformational weeks that I had. And I really saw the benefit of working with a dialogue type coaching scenario or therapy, but adding a layer of breathwork. I really saw that. And you know, I'm a client of yours and I regularly go for breathwork. And whilst at times I find it very difficult to say, oh, this is what you need to add to, because I can't quite explain it, I have found it invaluable. So, to me and to others who may be listening, how would you explain it?
So it is a difficult one, and I would agree with you. And I usually say to people who are skeptical, just come and try, right?
Okay.
But there is no doubt in my mind, and there's no doubt in people's minds who have tried this, that our breath is our anchor, right? Because the first thing we do and we experience when we're stressed is that we actually stop breathing.
True. True.
Right? I mean, I look at my daughter right now at the moment, and she's actually holding her breath.
Yeah.
And I just simply say to her, honey, breathe.
Yeah.
Just breathe. Just breathe.
Yeah. Okay, that's
And the breath will bring you right back into your body.
Yeah.
Yes, it will allow you to experience where you are right now. But, you know, even in mindfulness, they talk about pausing pressing the pause button and, but using your breath to bring you into that pause so that you can stop and feel. It will actually help to bring the mind into a quieter place. And as you know, you're never going to stop the mind from having thoughts.
Yeah.
That's just not possible. It's a
It's not
thinking
possible.
machine, right?
Yeah. And I've just written down the word corporates just to remind myself to ask you a question. Because when I was in the corporate world, and I work with people in the corporate world now, but for 30 years I worked in a highly stressful, fast paced financial services environment. And if you had said those words to me, just breathe, and I know you did try about 4 years ago when I was in the corporate
I
world,
remember.
and I'd be going, yeah, yeah, yeah. How would you speak to a senior leader who is really struggling to settle their mind?
I would have beautiful little exercises, and
Yeah.
one of them we call the infinity breath.
Mm-hmm.
And it's to do with settling, the left and the right side of the brain. What I would say is just become aware of your breath in moments of stress.
Yeah.
We all breathe.
Yeah.
People say that to me all the time, but I am breathing.
Yes.
But are you using the breath to your advantage to bring peace inside, to calm yourself?
Mm.
to go inward, to allow, to recognize. A lot of people can't even name what they're feeling. They can't name the emotions
Yeah.
because they're constantly trying to rationalize it. Whereas feelings are to be felt.
I love that. Because actually, sometimes there is no name to an emotion,
No,
but
yeah,
society has given us names to emotions.
that is absolutely correct.
Yeah.
And I think the breath is a beautiful tool to just use it.
Yeah.
If you were to put your hand on your chest right now and just close your eyes for 2 seconds, and I would ask you, where is your breath right now?
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm not going to do it right now because I'm.
No, but you know what? It
But
would take you out of your rational
yes.
mind and it would bring you into your
Yeah.
body.
And
That's
you
that's
have.
the
Yeah.
simplest I can explain it right now.
And that's superb. And I've seen it in action. I mean, I have to admit, I've experienced that on numerous occasions where the breath has just settled. And what's interesting, because we've been talking about emotional triggers, and I probably threw you that curveball of the corporate and the leadership, because for me, a lot of clients that we are working with at the moment are talking about emotional triggers, and they're actually always looking outside for the resolution to those triggers. So, whether it's in the form of blaming somebody else, a spouse, a partner, a child, a boss, a colleague, a teammate, or it's they're looking outside to get a resolution in the form of alcohol. I mean, there's so many WhatsApp jokes going around, but actually, it is a key trigger. They're saying that sales of alcohol are going up and up during COVID. And what's curious for me is how, when I show people that actually that's outside of you, whether it's a good trigger or a bad trigger, it's still the same emotional attachment you have outside you, and you're not going inside to settle. What would the breath work, and what would you say to that as a breath worker?
So that is a really difficult one because the lockdown is isolating people,
Yeah.
and people who already have addictive behaviors will struggle even more. And that is a very difficult one. And I'm reaching out, and there's a lot out there that people can do online,
Mm.
you know, to kind of help themselves. Now, addictive behavior, there is always more deeper underlying issues, which is very hard right now to to help somebody, even online, to go there.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that I've experienced this week myself, and which I would really emphasize in this very difficult time, is to please ask for help and support.
Yeah. So simple.
We feel alone, yes, but we're not alone. There's people out there who can help, even to listen, to have a chat. Please ask for support. We all need support at times, especially now.
Yeah, I love that. And actually, that was something that a client of mine last week saw for the first time. I'm not asking for
Yeah,
it. And that was even pre COVID. And that was something that she was still hanging on to. And that's what I mean by addictions. Addictions doesn't necessarily have to be the one that we name quite regularly in modern life. Addictions are addictions to actually being in that unawareness, that self of unawareness, addicted to worrying,
yeah,
addicted to complaining. There are so many addictions. I always say that it's just a word that has a negative connotation. But to me, addiction isn't an escape, it's
I
something
agree.
outside of you.
I agree.
Yeah.
And it is very often an escape from something much deeper.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know and what are triggers? As you said earlier, we're blaming the outside, but if something is triggered within us, really, it calls for attention within.
Yeah.
And again, that's where the breath comes in.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you can have a queue at your door actually during this and after this. I've two other questions because we decided that we were going to keep these hubcasts short. So, you're a nutritionist, and today is National Workplace Wellbeing Day. what little nuggets could you hand to people or say to people today?
I I would actually recommend to mind your blood sugar,
Okay.
right? Our blood sugar control is hugely important for our cravings, to keep our stress levels down. Um, so, a little tip, which I will gladly share, and which I'm actually doing myself.
Mm-hmm.
If you're suffering from cravings at the moment, have small meals regularly throughout the day.
Yeah.
Some people are actually not exercising as they would do. Even walking to their bus stop daily has been taken away.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you eat more regular meals, smaller portions, your stomach, your digestion will actually not suffer as much.
Mm.
So eat regular, smaller meals and always add protein.
Okay.
And that will really help to keep your blood sugar stable, which then in turn will keep the cravings down.
Well, there you go. And I'm a new vegetarian now, so I need to watch my proteins and how I introduce
Yeah,
them.
absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
plant
Okay.
protein. Yeah.
Yeah. That's very useful. Now, this has been great, actually. I have to admit, I've picked up a few little nuggets myself. So, last thing is so for National Wellbeing Day, last comments, last share.
Um, I think it's extremely important right now to be kind to yourself.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, be very, very kind to yourself. Take away any pressure or stress that you might feel that you have to perform,
Mm.
that you have to. There's no there's no rules right now. There is, nor the normal that we knew is gone. So please, if you feel like walking around in your pajamas one day and watching movies, please do.
Yeah. That's superb. And you know, the word that just jumped out at me, Nadia, is perform. And it's a word that resonates so much with me because performance is something we're so used to doing. That other meaning of performing, that nearly pretend. I call it the great pretender.
Yeah,
And it's that's fallen away. We are completely exposed now. So actually, if we take these tips and actually really hear them and listen to them and
yes,
apply them, we're only doing two or three little takeaways. It's settle your mind,
yes,
mind your breath, and
yes.
ask for help.
Ask for help
That's
and
it.
be kind.
And be kind. So four tips.
Yeah.
Be kind. Well, thank you very much. That was excellent. This
Thank
is
you.
our first
Thank you for
Hubcast
having
of the
me.
night.
Yes. Yeah. And
Great.
good luck.
Nadia Haugh from the Breathing Room. Thank you.